Hey, what's happening, folks? Thanks for being here. People First, Then Construction. I'm your host, Jonathan Sinelli. This podcast, movement, and so much more. Like, we're talking about what it is to be a human being first, because then everything else organically occurs around that. And today I want to leave a thought, the importance of a check in. And it really showed up in my life. And that's what I want to talk about. You see, the power of vulnerability, like sharing vulnerably what occurs creates time and space for to allow for people to check in. So for me, there has been times I'm not immune to anything. I'm a human being like us all that goes through ups and downs. And I'll tell you, when I hit downs, whoa, they can get messy and uncomfortable at times. And sometimes I'm not able to pivot through it myself right away. So here's what's really going on. Something recently occurred. Actually, a lot of things occurred all together. And, you talk about pillars of life, health, wealth, happiness, relationships, whatever they are for you. I'll tell you, if one crumbles, most times it can handle it. If two crumble, it's weak, can pivot past it. When more than two crumble, man, I'm a bag of potatoes. Man, you know what? Like, I don't want to talk to anybody. I don't want to see anybody. In fact, nothing else matters. And then it gets even worse because then you get physically sick, like bedridden, physically sick. And when you're sick, the only thing you can think about is getting better. Really, nothing else matters. And so there are certain people in life that when you reach out to, and for me, I think that the people that I reach out to, I don't always expect anything, sometimes simply a sounding board. And when I've reached out to human beings, the way they've actually helped because they've lived through scenarios, they do nothing more than listen and give advice and wisdom based on the information they have, based on what they've gone through and what they've learned from themselves. We're all going through our own shit. In fact, much of it's actually very, very similar. It's packaged differently, it's flavored differently, it's tied together differently. And when you strip that down to the foundational roots, it's so similar, it's rather scary at times. And so when I was recently going through these tremendous downward spirals, there are lots of people who I could have reached out to. And I chose a select few based on the predetermined biases, the transferences, and the presuppositions that I believed they were going to carry forward. And you know what came out of that? Understanding. I broke commitments and I was true and honorable, saying, look, there's a lot of stuff pivoting right now that's marinating in my brain that I need to deal with. People said, I understand. I got it. And I'd love to hear about that sometime when you're ready. And I've had other friends along the way to say, hey man, you want to go for a walk? You want to grab a coffee? You want to just sit together? I appreciate that. I appreciate you all. I really do. And sometimes there's people who you kind of, I'm going to use this word purposely, expect to reach out and check in, and they don't. And that's okay too, because we all got our own shit going on. I want to tell you that it's so powerful when given everything else that's going on, there are still some great human beings out there that check in, they call, even a text, say, hey man, I'm thinking about you. Hey man, what's going on? Hey, how's everything going? Hey, you're on my mind. How's it going the last couple of days? Do you know how tremendously different that is for me? They support me. They got me. And that causes action for me to take action, to pivot through and have the uncomfortable conversations to resolve the issues at hand. And you know what else it does for me? Reciprocity. Now, I remember and realize the importance of tremendously checking in with others and saying, hey, are you okay? Rather than sort of picking up the phone and volleying over all my problems and telling everybody else how they're wrong and what they didn't do. Like, fuck, you know what the biggest thing is? Sometimes just check and say, how are you actually doing? Like, what have you been struggling with? And when somebody says, oh, I've been dealing with a lot of shit, like, tell me a little bit about that. When you're ready. If I'm the right person for you, talk to me. Because I'm here for you. But that's got to start with sort of the olive branch of saying, I'm here for you. There are so many people who, they say, yeah, I'm here for you, I'm here for you. And then it's like all of a sudden they're fucking not there. You learn shit. That's all I can tell you is you learn shit. The importance of checking in. And when somebody's on your mind, you know what? Shoot them a message. Say, hey, you're on my mind. I'm thinking about you. How you doing? Hey, I know you're dealing with a broken leg. How's the recovery? Hey, I know you went through a rough game. What's really on your mind? Hey, I know you're dealing with X. Or what are you really dealing with? This is the part that kills me, folks. Like, we live in a society, you open up social media and it's okay to talk about. Sometimes you don't want to fucking talk about mental health. Sometimes you're sitting there waiting for somebody to check in on you. And I'm here today to say the power of checking in on somebody else fosters that reaching out. Because somebody checked in on me and saved me from that moment, saved me from whatever was going to occur next. It made me realize how important it is to check in on people. Anyhow, that's what I got for today. I'm sharing openly, I'm sharing honestly, I'm sharing vulnerably to say, look, I'm a human being too. And there's been people in my life who have checked in on me. And I thank you out there. Thank you for doing that. Thank you for actually giving a shit. Thanks for not making it about you. Thanks for not picking up the phone and volleying all your unsolicited information over to me without asking. Thanks for not playing victim and telling me all the shit that poor you. Thank you. Thanks for parking that aside and actually checking in and saying, Jonathan, how are you actually doing? And then shutting up and listening. And asking permission. Hey, do you want my insight? Or do you want me just to listen? Because you know what? This is time I said, I need all the insight I can get. What are you dealing with? What have you done? How have you pivoted past this? So thank you for those that actually care. Thank you for those that actually remember and think. Thank you for all those text messages, because those text messages, they help. They help. And to everybody else out there, here's a simple reminder. Check in. If somebody's on your mind, tell them. Let them know. If somebody's going through something, shoot them a text. I'm thinking about you. How's it going? Wholeheartedly show up for somebody else. Because when you do, my gosh, everything else change. We're human beings first, folks. We're an emotionally driven species. And we need each other. And we need each other now more than ever. Check in because you care. Check in because it makes a difference. Thanks for listening. Check in with somebody. It might be exactly what they need.